Novel Writing November, or NaNoWriMo, is an annual experiment which officially started in 1999. The nonprofit now boasts almost 800,000 writers and 370,000 novels completed. My dear friend Goose suggested I try it with them in 2017, and I have been attempting the challenge ever since. The goal of Novel Writing November is to write a work weighing in at 50,000 words. This length was chosen as both a challenging and manageable sprint for the month, and mirrors the length of famous novels like Of Mice and Men, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, or Slaughterhouse-Five. Novel November is ultimately a motivation boost, and I always enjoyed the prospect of starting a new project as the start date began to loom overhead. However, you don't need to start fresh and can continue an existing project. It is quite flexible, with no genre restrictions and limited rules, allowing for both planners and pantsers. Like Goose says, writing any amount is a victory, even falling far short of the goal. Editing or other art forms are also fair play, just tweak the format to fit your needs. This month has its own visual arts challenge, Inktober, which has a similar feel. Despite my best efforts, I have never successfully met the goal of Novel November, which requires one to write 1,667 words a day on average. Typically, I would start strong and taper off during the latter half of the month. The first year I attempted the challenge, I wrote a 6,000-word short story, which I consider to be my first real work of fiction. The story, titled Hobbies, has a science fiction leaning and follows the adventure of an archaeologist as they discover more about themselves and their society. The next year, I wrote another science fiction story, completed but in dire need of a thorough edit. When finished, it was around 30,000 words, with 20,000 or so being written during November. The story was dystopian, about the end of the world, and for the most part follows only one character. Science fiction stories continued through the next 2 Novembers, another dystopian story about robots, followed by a space odyssey. Both tales are unfinished, around 20,000 words each. These stories had more characters and dialogue, and the remaining sections of both are loosely planned out. Last year I tried to shake things up, starting a young adult fantasy novel and intending it to be entirely character-driven, without resorting to any violence to spur the action. The story is about a young shopkeeper. It is unfinished and only about 6,500 words. This year, a few weeks from now, I'm going to attempt Novel November again, this time with a twist. I'll be trying to write 30 short stories, over 1,600 words each. If successful, I'd have 30 new projects and another complete book of shorts to sit beside my first one, The Stacks, released earlier this year. I've already written 30 one-word prompts to try and spur the stories along. If any story particularly grabs me, I might continue it past the word limit, but I will be trying to at least start one of the 30 every day. Novel November has been especially helpful in forming the habit of writing. As the years went on, I found myself happily writing during the other months. If you've ever thought about writing, I encourage you to jump in this November. Or if the winter months don't work for you, try Camp Nano, another month-long sprint that happens in the summer. The NaNoWriMo website has lots of helpful features like progress trackers, community meetups, and encouragement emails. There are even some rewards given to those who complete the goal, usually discount codes from sponsors. I'll leave a link to the Nano website below for you to check out. Good luck writing. Thanks for listening.